hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. I'm Mika. Here at Leap Taken, I talk all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. Welcome to uh, today's live video. I'm going to be talking about what it's like being a public practicing witch, and a little bit about this journey that I'm on. It's ongoing. Um, yeah, so I'm going to talk about that. I don't see anybody here yet. It had an error. I hope this is showing up. It looks like everything's okay. Yeah, well, okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume people catch it on a replay. I don't know about you, but when videos start or like a live stream and people just kind of wait, it's like, oh, I'll wait till somebody else is here. I'm like, don't wait. I'm watch this on a replay. I don't want to wait. Hi. Hello. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna fix my light a little bit. Hold on. There we go. It's just a little. I'm trying to get the balance. I've introduced a ring light into my life to make things a little easier. Anyway, for viewing. But anywho, so I want to talk again about being a public practicing witch. And I'm going to obviously be speaking from my journey and what that's been like. And then I'll be happy to share, tips as well, essentially for what it's like to be out of the broom closet as a witch. And is a thing. It is a thing. You would think in 2024, you would think with every, you would think a lot of things. But it's it's been interesting. Um, all right. So again, here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, esoteric, and everything else in between. Um, this is actually, I like to keep things light. It's very Gen X of me, but this is actually really deeply personal. And I think this is really important. And I thought, why not talk about this? One, there was literally a series of events that occurred that made me want to talk about it. So, life happens and things occur, and I'm like, hey, why not? I have a platform. Why not? This could be useful to somebody else. So let me put my glasses on so I can see better. And I will be back Friday with, once I put these on, spoiler, there's something coming on Friday that I can't wait to talk about with you guys. And it's my witchy review as well, by the way. All right, so and I have my notes here because if you've ever heard me talk, I go on these wild tangents. Anyway, but um, good afternoon, Insky. So being open about my practice is something I choose consciously. I made a choice a long time ago. Um, it is definitely part of who I am. I believe there's power in embracing and sharing who we are, being authentic, sharing your truth. But there are challenges with anything in life, challenges and joys, right? So as far as my journey, good and bad, um, I want to get into that. So this is the time you might want to grab something to drink, get a cup of tea, because I'm gonna be sharing a little bit. I'm gonna start with the tough stuff first, okay? So being public about practicing witchcraft, has definitely brought some challenges, especially with family and some friends. Recently, I had a very negative exchange with some family members. Um, Basically, I was told I was being rebuked, and they found that scripture in the Bible, something to the effect of not sparing a witch to live. And this was all done on that platform over there where, people usually go to connect with family. It wasn't public. It was in our private family uh, Facebook group. And one person saying something, okay, two people, three, all the people who liked this prayer of protection uh, was a lot for me. Hey, the Empress Golf afternoon to you, sis, sis in the craft. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I take it personal because that not spare a witch to live doesn't. Well, what's the opposite of live? You die, right? Imagine this was just said, and the mindless. Oh, oops, see, let me calm down because calm down is going to be spoiler. That's going to be one of my tips to calm down. Sometimes you can't calm down fast enough. Thank you. I think the best part of this experience has been one, my sister is a rider. She's a rider. She's going to ride forever. For me, I love that. And my daughter, because they were the only people who came into my daughter is not, you know, she is like Gen Z millennial cusp, like in that age range. She's never on Facebook. She had to figure out where Facebook, like, find like an iPad that she's not really been using, to go in and figure, dust it off, figure it out. My son, who was very Gen Z, was like, I don't even have Facebook, and I think I. He was trying to figure out what his password was. Like, it was just these people don't. They couldn't even. Eventually, my daughter got into it, came in, with her very highly educated, non-religiously indoctrinated self, you know, got to it. Boom, bam, boom, This has to talk about civil rights era. Like, she was going in. I love my baby. She's intelligent. And I made her and I homeschooled her. Um, and I know I have a heavy influence over my younger. She's 9 years younger than me, sister. Um, they were the only people. So when I say family, don't I'm not talking about like, oh, my mom's kids. I'm talking about family. It's a lot of people in there. A lot of people liked that prayer against me. And my initial thing was, so y'all, it was a big block of text. I barely read it because I was like one of the kids. I ain't reading all that. Um, there is some stuff going on. I mean, who doesn't have some? Even if you don't currently have family drama, at some point there's been family drama. We all experience it, right? The old heads of my family get really mad when you speak about um, family drama publicly because it's I get it. I'm very respectful. It's the old guard. They get where don't let people know our business. Um, I don't really think people care that much about your personal business. Basically, the my grandmother, 90 years old woman, dealing with memory loss, a lot of confusion, dementia, a lot of not good days. She had been living on her own in an apartment forever. It became very obvious back in 2019, but definitely 2020, at the start of us fighting about COVID. This lady can't live on her own. We got to get her. We got to get her out of here. She's seeing stuff. She's calling, getting the police involved. I think the catalyst. It was a couple different things. She said that there was she has no balcony. She lived on a second floor apartment. The stairs to get into her apartment. First of all, there's stairs to get up to the door, and then when you're in on that, open the door, there were like a flight of stairs to get into the unit, her home. Long story short, there is no balcony. Second floor. She called the police. My mother left work early. She's still working at that point. It was like someone's trying to break my downstairs neighbor in the basement apartment is trying to break into my unit. Um, there's no balcony. And they said, how'd she get in? And when my mom is standing there with a police officer and she shows a rip about, maybe a couple inches, maybe 2 inches in her screen. She said, see, that's how they tried to get in. And my mom looks at the cop and the cops, they like, look. And my mom was like, I got it. I got it. because we realize, and you're thinking, oh, well, maybe they use a light. It was too hot. Like, none of this makes sense. Also, why would there just be a small slit in a weird, like, anyway. And they said, did you see them? I know it was them. And it's like, she sound a little out there. And we start realizing some other stuff. Like, she kept losing her IDs. Well, she wasn't losing them. She was hiding them. That's a sign. Um, Dishes in the closet, like in her bedroom closet. And it was just, yeah. So my mom was still working a full time job. Now, my mom's the oldest. My grandmom had 6 kids, a boy and a girl. The son died. And it's my mom and her sisters. One of the sisters, younger sisters, died years ago too. So my mom has been leaned on by my grandmother in a unhealthy way my entire life. Um, we all got drama. um, I've hated that for my mother. I've hated that. She has been the mother to her siblings, their protector, even when the brother wasn't. I bring this up because in these crazy times in 2020 with my grandmom, one of my aunts steps up. She has a 4-bedroom house in the burbs. She wants to do it. Everybody else was in agreement. My mom was like, it's not going to work. I thought her attitude was a little negative, but she was still working a full-time job. My aunt wasn't, and she's married. Her husband works. So she was home. This was someone I talked to every day, my mom's sister. So she was in over her head. My mom was right. Her delivery was real effed up. I'm not going to lie. I told my mom that. My mom used to always say, I feel like she's turning you against me. Her sister, I'm like, she's not turning. This is not the case. Like, I'm called, like, I can't help but see the wrong. And I'm telling you, respectfully, you kind of handling this wrong. Like, you're not helping your sister. Fast forward, my grandma started walling out. Have you been around anybody with dementia? Have you been around people like that? Um, it's not for the weak at heart. They will find her, like, not everybody's situation. She will get so mean. She wouldn't sleep. She went on a hunger strike. She lost all this weight. It was bad. My aunt could not handle my grandma. She couldn't. Mind you, my mom is like the hands-on person with this woman for years. She takes her, my grandma never learned how to drive. My mom took her to the grocery store every other week or however, their system was. Um, if my grandma wanted to go out to dinner, my mom is the one that took her. Like, she was always the person taking her to church. So my aunt couldn't handle her. Also, my grandma hated being there. Come to find out, my grandmother was never like she was nice for like she was able to keep it under wraps for a couple weeks, and then it just So she refused to go back on a visit to see my mother. She refused to go back to this aunt's house. My aunt didn't take that so well, even though she was extremely overwhelmed with the situation with my grandmother. She was way out of her league. She was looking at facilities maybe for her to go to, right? So my mom says, look, mom's here. She refuses to leave. At this point, my mom retired. She was retiring in 2020. So I say, hey, mom, I met you. You sure you got, the temperament for this? Because I know you have like zero, you know, like patience with a lot of things. So you sure you gonna get? Yeah, I got it. I got it. Cool. My grandmother is still with my mother. It is a extremely hard job. From 2020, from that point, which by that point, both my mother would get COVID. My mom has asthma. That was life threatening for her. And if you remember in 2020, when they brought out that talk about putting you on a respirator, most people died. You didn't come off of it, you died. So my mother's, me, my sister, my mom, FaceTiming. Nobody. I'm on the other side of the country, and she's saying, "Well, even if you come here, they're not going to let you in." It was, remember those times they weren't going to let you come in a hospital. So I'm just here. It's around like Thanksgiving 2020. I'm going through it, y'all. I'm going through it. My aunt, who I know is not good with everything, she done got full on radicalized as a Trumper. Like, this is, we all black for the record. Everybody's black. She's become a trumpet, and unbeknownst to me, um, it's just escalating. I'm like, hey, my mom's in the hospital. I'm scared. I'm sorry, your sister's in the, and your mom, by the way, is also in the same hospital in a different area. Oh, well, COVID's not even real. And it just got more nasty after that. And I'm like, the, I'm sorry, wait, what are we doing right now? Like, I'm talking to my mom's. I'm being her advocate through a phone on a video call, talking with nurses, talking to doctors, being a part of her care plan, trying to understand. My mom begged them not to put her on that respirator. She said, "Just give me one more day. I'm gonna be okay. Give me one more day." My mom was begging. My mom has beautiful, more melanin rich skin than me, and she's got clear skin, beautiful skin. That's the trick to anti-aging. Have a little fat in your face and more melanin. I'll tell you, because she does not look her age. I'm seeing this beautiful skin my mom has, and it's getting more ashen. And I'm like, I'm freaking out because I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing her eyes. And every time I talk, like I'm trying not to cry because I don't want to freak her out even more. And I know she's scared. She's alone in a hospital. My This sister of hers turned everyone against her. Her sisters, they didn't seem to care. Nobody cared. They all went on. Do you know how on the internet you have those people like, they saying it's COVID, it's just the flu. In real life, that was a lot of people in my family talking. Mind you, this woman's up here dying. Gratefully, and with a lot of work, my mom got better. And she didn't have to get on that respirator. She eventually got better, and my grandmom got better. I'm calling my grandmom in the hospital, and she's like, I said, "Grandmom, you feeling okay?" She's like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I be?" I said, "Well, you have COVID." She says, "Nobody told me." I had a good chuckle about that. She's in the hospital having this I didn't already talk to the nurse. She's she's got issues, right? She said, "Nobody told me." So since that time, my grandmother has had respiratory issues from that experience. My mother has had ongoing respiratory issues from that experience. Exactly. I felt I could not talk to this aunt. I stopped talking to her then because I realized you're more effed up than I realized. I'm blaming it on a recent accident she had where she bumped her head and she did suffer a concussion. And if you are an older person having a concussion, it can have some effects. So it can. What I found that people with just brain injuries in general that survive it, there's some personality issues. Like people who were normally calm, even tempered, have these blow ups. Sometimes the most nastiest parts of you are more on display, kind of like with dementia, right? That's what I've been going with. And she was radicalized. And there's a certain amount of not having empathy to support Trump wholeheartedly. Like going on social media platforms, like putting up stuff that can easily be proven wrong, but they don't know. And they're going, like, you're a black woman in alt right spaces reposting things, and it's got a biblical thing to it. And you're thinking, oh, they're right. And it's like, they hate you. They hate the whole. Anyway, because see that right there. um, Years later, it's just gotten worse. This same aunt, with the help of the other sister, so there's three living sisters, my mom and her three sisters. Um, One is far worse. I'm not even going to get into that right now. That's the one that gets me where I can't be calm no more. We just might have to start swinging. And I don't like want to beat up on family, especially an elder, but she takes you there. She's like, she comes out the gate real disrespectful. Oh, my necklace came off. Oh, well. um, no problem. This aunt, the Trumper, decides to come to my mother's house. This is in 2023, November. My grandma's birthday is in November 2023. This is significant because things between my mom stopped talking to her. She used to share things. She didn't want my mom to have access exactly. Um, Throwing like I'm not a fighter. I'm not somebody. I'm gonna call the police. I'm gonna do some witchcraft on you. I'm doing that. But this person is like she just never evolved. I would My initial thing would be to just call the police and get her away. But she's also the type of person who will try to hit you first. Like so you gotta defend yourself. Like she's really coming in on that energy, and it's like, ma'am, you're an old lady. Please don't do this. But anyway, my aunt comes over. It's like a night or two after my grandma's birthday. My mom, I remember this. It was a big deal. It's right. It's November. Christmas is December. My mom's trying to do all these renovations in her house, and I get it from my mama. So like the wallpaper, I put that up myself. My mom taught me how to put floors down. We would paint. I know how to paint because of my mom. Like being a little kid, I was her helper. So she taught me, and my sister. So how to hang wall, all that stuff. Like my mom, she's doing a lot. She had a crew come in 'cause she was getting new floors. That was different, but she was painting herself her kitchen cabinets, doing the work herself, right? And she's in the house. We had talked, I think, a little bit earlier, and it's they're on the northeast, so it's cold outside. So there's a knock at the door. My mom goes. It's said aunt. She's there at the door by herself, and she says she wants to bring a card to the mother for the birthday. And my mom's like, why didn't you call? Like, you just popping up. So my mom's in her painter's clothes. She's got a little, how do you look when you're painting? You look crazy, right? So she's trying to take care of, she was in the middle of painting. She's back in her kitchen. So this woman is coming in with a nasty attitude, uninvited, unannounced, comes in, throwing these little digs, these shots, because she's got an issue with money. Uh, my grandmother was, she was born in 1934. She worked eventually as, they didn't even call it a CNA. They call it, you were called a nurse's aide. That's what my grandma's profession was. She was a nurse's aide at a, she called it the old folks home. That's what she said. That's how she would explain it. She retired at like age 55. She ain't make no money. she make she ain't make no money. They she Her social security checks are small. We'll just say that they're very small. My mom realized my aunt was just stacking them. She was just letting them sit in the account. She said, well, I'm paying for everything. I don't need it. My mom was like, well, that's great. But when mom comes here, I'm, I just retired. I'm on a fixed income. So mom's income has to come into the house because it's just, my mom, it doesn't work like that, My mom isn't married and my aunt was. And it's like, I got you, sis, but like, that's just that little bit of money, she pay for some stuff here. Like my grandmom is, she's older. She's going to want to watch cable and TV. So my mom wasn't doing all that. So she had to add in expenses and food and other dietary things and other issues. And the 50, so many doctor's appointments and like, it's a thing. Like she's taking care of her. If you put her in a care facility, they would have taken that whole check, right? This is a problem for my aunt. It's about money. There's a little bit of money. She causes a ruckus, tells my mom what she's not going to do. My mom said, you need to get out of my house. You coming in here, you're disrespecting me in my house. I'm not going to allow it. Get out of my house. Now, I don't know if any of y'all got little sisters. I don't care how old you are. If you're 15, 20, 50, 60, you can't roll. Don't try to get too bad with your older sis. Don't do that. Don't do that. And she did. She really tried it. And my mom was like, what are you doing? You coming in here on some superhero energy. Like, what's really going on? And she's like, no, you got to get out. And she refused to leave. And my mom, and she's like, at this point, my mom is approaching in the doorway. She's like, get out my house. Like, you can't come in here disrespecting me. So she pushed her out of the doorway. Her husband was waiting in a car. he, from his vantage, I imagine, sees this happening. And she doesn't fall, but my mom is not, she's not pushing her hard. She's just like moving her. But she's holding on to the door frame. So that's why, I imagine from his vantage point, he sees that. This man, who is, my mom is like 5'4", maybe 5'3". This well over 6 feet, big man, gets out, grabs my mom like this, says foul, disrespectful things to her, how he wants to F her up, calls her the B word. More stuff happens. My aunt is instigating, trying to hit, like, she sees her hands coming, and my mom's like, are y'all literally trying to jump me? Like, she's halfway shocked, and my mom's the type of person, she laughs in horror movies. If you scare her, she laughs. Like, her responses are not like everybody else's. So she's kind of like, what the fuck? These people really trying to jump? Like, she's shocked this is happening. Backstory, over the years, my mom was the person they called all her sisters when somebody put their hands on them, when a man tried to hit them, or they were scared, or any kind of situation, including this aunt. And how do I know? Because my mom had me at 17, and she didn't want to leave me in the house by myself in the middle of the night when these calls always happen. So she had me roll. I was shotgun, and we rolling up in the Chevy, and my mom's there just like, don't put your hands on my sister. She's like 5'4", 5'3". But she had a heart. She come and shit. My mom used to be, first of all, she had weight over the years, but she was skinny. But it didn't matter. She came in there, don't touch my sister. You touch her, She's been like this with all her sisters. Happened on multiple occasions. The irony, at this stage of her life, she in here painting kitchen cabinets, minding her business, trying to get things ready for the holidays. We were talking, that's me and my mom, we talk decorating, stuff like that. We're excited. And this heifer comes over with this man, and you're encouraging him to hit your sister after all the years she kept man from beating on your dumb man, beating on you. So this has put a huge tension in the family. So in said Facebook group, because you needed the backstory, because this is not going to make sense. It was long-winded. I told you to grab something to drink, right? In a Facebook group, this says her son. Well, the crazy one I won't get into, that I won't even go there because that's too much unraveling. Her daughter hits me with the scripture after talking to the Trumper aunt. Trumper aunt's son, because I defend myself against that comment in our group, he starts coming at me. And then basically says, well, you weren't there, so you don't know what happened. So let me get this straight. If your mom says to you, called you upset, my mom was hurt more than anything. She wasn't scared, she was hurt because of the irony of the situation. Because she really saw this heifer for who she was. So wait, you encouraged this man to hit me? And by the way, there was an audience of all of her neighbors because this happened on her front porch. At night, it was quiet. She lives in a nice, quiet area. My mom did call the police on this man. Little extra spice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my mom ain't never been, she had no choice. She had to be the protector. And I'm over here saying, so you're defending this man's action because they're like, why isn't the family together anymore? My mom also is the central hub for the family events. Guess who? 2 of her sisters are not allowed to come in her home. If there's an event taking place and they invite any of these people, the 2 sisters and the sister with the husband, this has already happened because there's no loyalty with these people and the other people I'm related to. My mom has left. Birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, she out. Soon as she see them come, she out. She's not even gonna talk. She doesn't want to have, and that's the right attitude to have. My mom's very Capricorn. So this little funny looking cousin of mine gonna fix his face and say, well, I mean, if he really wanted to, mind you, I just got hit with the sparrow witch. He coming in with another angle talking about he was in combat training and he, he can beat somebody, and he would know that if the guy, the husband, if he wanted to really hurt my mom, he could have beat her to a pulp. He wrote those words out. My daughter came in, got his got him, got the other cousin, the one that wrote the Bible crap, is actually closer to my daughter's age. My sister comes in on a thing like, yo, why you starting this? What are you doing right now? And if you have a problem with my sister, you should have called her. You could have messaged her through this Facebook app. You didn't have to come on here doing that, talking about rebuke me. It was a big block of just craziness. And then I told her, I said, baby, you work in hoodoo right now. Church going people got access to this because somebody let somebody church go and see it. And they said, and they're very Pentecostal, and they was like, that sounds like hoodoo. And that's what I said. And I said, welcome to the craft, fam. They didn't receive that well in the group, by the way. So my sister's point of view was, you've never walked around saying, I'm a witch. I'm a witch. Look at me. I do magic to the family. You never came into the group. You don't advertise your services, your channel. You don't do any of that. You're just Mika. I don't even post there very often. She felt like I was outed. I don't feel like I was outed. I mean, I guess technically yes, because people didn't get the prayer of the witch part. They just liking it. And it just showed the mental illness in my family, that y'all as a family, it was a lot of loves and likes on her prayer to me. That's what they're saying. I got a phone call from an elder relative saying, I think you're misunderstanding it. We talk like this. I bind in the name of Jesus. We talk like that in the church. And I was like, she added me to not spare a witch to live. In the midst of the binding and rebuking was to me. She didn't like that I stood on business about that a threat of violence to my mother, and that's why the family is not getting along. I know I'm one of those people. I can't just sit and everybody being nice and just saying, yeah, I don't know why we not together. I'll tell you why. I can't stand phony fakeness. It irritates me. It irritates me so much. I'm very authentic. If I tell you I do XYZ, I do it. If I don't do it, I'll tell you, you know what? Let me tell you why I didn't finish or why I didn't do it. I can't stand fakeness. Child, to see how all them folk, like, they went back, because all this stuff, it was a lot of messaging back and forth. And mostly a lot of people, no one liked my stuff. They didn't like my daughters or my sister. Nobody came in, nobody checked the next day. Dang, is your mom all right? When did that happen? It's a lot of, I don't know what's happening, but we just need to come together. I was gonna say something, I'm gonna pull it back. So I had to consult with my ancestors, of course, because I was like, I'm ready to light this whole crew. I'm ready to start over. Let's just light this whole situation up, all of them. But we're gonna bring it down. They like, no, you don't get to decide that. You're not wiping out the line. You're not gonna hex curse the whole crew. We're not doing that because they're just ignorant. One in particular, the two men, they still, no. The man that threatened my mom, all day. Fun fact, I'm related to him by marriage, and I actually, through other ways, found out I'm related to him on my dad's side. He's actually a cousin of mine. Child. So at this point, whoever didn't know I practiced, and by the way, there was some insults about me being a witch. I was called weird. And then they said, oh, maybe that, so I see that's the issue now, you being a witch. So I'm the reason the family's not together, because I practice witchcraft. This is exactly why I refuse to be in our family group chat, girl, because my patience and temper are not what they need to be. Exactly. Honestly, I usually am not even on Facebook. The reason I go to Facebook is because I'm in a bunch of communities, groups over there, and I gotta get past what's showing up those posts to get to that group, and something caught my eye, and that's how this all started. I wish I had ignored it. But then again, I don't, because I'm glad I said what I said, because I'm standing up for my mother. I'm standing up for my mother. And I kept reiterating, you realize you're attacking me for standing up for my mother by constantly telling me not to believe her. I shouldn't believe her. And I'm like, and then the more they were talking, I was like, this man probably beats women. Like, I don't talk to this cousin that often. I don't know him. I don't know this man. I don't know him. But you talking about this man could have beat my mom to a pulp, and then you type in like, you weren't there, so you can't believe it. Like, who says that about women that you know? So if your daughter, if you were to have a daughter, and she came up to you and told you something happened, you wasn't there, so you don't believe it. If your woman tells you this situation, I was attacked, oh, I didn't see it, so woo. Um, so I'm out. Although I've been, here, not everybody's in these spaces, so I'm out. And what I've personally experienced, this is fresh, is ridicule and mocked, and no support except for my mom. I mean, my sister and my daughter. My mom never entered the Facebook chat, by the way. She stayed out of it. We didn't want her to. Um, and the old heads are all nervousy, about everything. Same reason I'm still on Facebook. I tried Family Discord, but one niece signed up. Yeah, so up until this point, I haven't experienced anything like that with family. So my heart goes out to you who are, and I also live on the other side of the country. None of these people are around me. So I've been able to very much live my life and come and go, come on here and just be as free as a bird out here, really without feeling consequences, like these types of consequences. But, and they call my baby weird. And said we're all weird. And this how people have like their last thing, the last thing that just pushes them over the edge. I think for my sister, this was her last thing, because she was like, let me get this straight. So y'all think there's only one way to do things, so there can't be different beliefs, and you and I was called a demonic, like I'm shortening it. It was a lot of back and forth. A demonic spirit. I was rebuked by more than one person. Like this just went. This has, and since it has escalated. Um, Misogyny runs deep in the Black community. Sadly, it does, because that's what it felt like with the male cousin I was talking with. The Bible scripture cousin didn't respond to the next day, so this was like an ongoing thing. And she came back with more Bible quotes. I'm never going to look them up because I don't care. And saying that basically she was saying I shouldn't have threatened the man that put his hands on my mom. That's why she was rebuking me and calling me out as a witch, because I stood up, because she talked to that Trumper aunt, and the Trumper aunt got in her head, talking that Jesus BS stuff. And I see, and she's the type, and y'all know them type former hoes. They want to be like, I'm such a virtuous woman, I would never. Y'all know them type. I tell you, most women, I want to say my age and up, who are devout Christian, they were almost always formed, like they was in them streets, y'all, or they was in somebody's bed. Like they were, it is proven. This is science at this point. They are the main ones. It's like, and they swear, not me, baby. Anyway, they love a good old demonic spirit. I know that's right. That they said I was the demonic spirit, and my baby. They said, "Oh, y'all are." Once somebody play, y'all are witches. That's weird. That's what they wrote. So, what's it like? Listen, the city girl to hostile pulpit pipeline needs to be studied. That's what I'm talking about. People don't talk about that enough. Like them old hoes, they become the most Christian devout. They're the ones, and they like, and they typically, you notice they don't come after men, because they're religious. The way they express their religion as judgment on others. And who else but women? Women who won't conform like them. So if you are too what they consider sexual, they got something to say. If you just don't follow, if you're too whatever, if you're just not doing the conformity thing that they're doing, and even if you are, they critique you. They always have something negative to say about you. You are so right. Hold fast, tail holier than thou. Exactly. And don't listen, because I know I'm talking about somebody's grandmom right now, and you like, not my grandmom. You know the story? Until you get to the age where you allowed to sit at the table and they don't tell you to go and they really talking real old tea, you don't know what you're talking about. When the thing is, I grew up with these people. Again, my mom had me so young. I grew up with them. She's the oldest. So I'm still watching your sisters get beat and punished for stuff. I'm watching them come through from being teenagers into adulthood. So I saw it all. And I spent a lot of time in my grandmom's house because my mom was a young mom and she needed to go to school and still do things. So my grandmom picked up the slack and helped her. All these years later, this is, what? I could have never, all the tarot cards, this is something I never would have interpreted. I could have had a full dream that this played out and I would have took this to mean, well, that's symbolic because that would never actually happen. Hey, Dylan, I would never think this would happen in real life, especially with that particular family member. But this is where it is. So now, the aftermath of that, which is even why I decided I want to talk about this subject today. And I don't have a problem sharing this. I don't have a thing of like, oh, you're telling too much of your business so people go judge you. First of all, how do I say this? You can't hurt me. Was I hurt? Do you know what I hurt? The thing about, even in the midst of all this, I was still hurting for my mom because I was like, damn, this woman out here holding fish fries, cookouts, barbecues, inviting folk over, and they don't give a F about her because ain't nobody here saying nothing to support her. I'm getting one person who is calling me so that nobody else knows that he's agreeing with me, but like nobody's standing up for her. And the fact that people thought they could just get this off and say these things and just keep, and people who go to her house on a regular basis, like this is just like, this was an eye opener. And I'm like, and they like, well, it's family. I was like, family. And then I'm like, am I on an episode of Supernatural with Sam and Dean and this concept of family? So you keep doing effed up. Yes, I'm on a tangent. Dean constantly makes these unilateral decisions about his brother who's a grown man, and he does it in the name of we're family. Sir, no, that's not how family works. You don't get to keep doing stuff to people and just say, because we're family, you should take it. But people really think that's what family is. You're supposed to just take whatever I give, however I give it, and you can't really not stop talking to me. That's why so many boomers are struggling with the concept of no contact, because you're disrupting what family is. It's so wild to me that they're calling you weird. I don't care who it is. Put your hands on my mom and this up and stuff. This is what I'm saying. Mind you, this started because the post was about families not talking no more. It was an old post. This cousin who comes into town gets an earful from this crazy aunt. And she this is not the first time she's done this with somebody who hasn't been around in a while. As soon as she gets a hold of him, she starts this smear campaign on my mom. And I just start calling all my cousins and anybody that support this BS flying monkeys. And my mom finds that hilarious. She doesn't get the term because of narcissism and all that stuff. She just thought I was calling them monkeys. I'm like, ma'am, I ain't going to, I'm not taking it that far. I'm not out. I'm afraid of losing our support and my husband losing his family. But if I'm ever asked, I'm not going to lie. I know, I completely understand that. And that's a tough situation to be in. Up until this point, I think I've had the best of both worlds, like I said, because now I'm out. Now I'm out. And I realize that I probably won't ever talk to a good amount of my family again. Family can hurt you. I'm trying to move in the comments. Ugh, I know. Family is, they can. This sounds crazy the way I say it, but I've been through so much. I've been married twice. and they weren't always great situations. I'm gonna just tell y'all this. It would take a lot. What hurts is somebody like my daughter like lying to me. Um, People I really love and care about, like I deal with, like being lied to, not from like, I mean, I could get past it if you're trying to protect my feelings, but like just blatantly lied to, like you're playing in my face, being somebody stealing something from me that I love and care about, um, that sort of thing, that hurts. Being hurtful to, I know you're intentionally trying to hurt me, someone that I thought liked me, that's hurtful. I don't really talk up to a lot of my family anyway. So it was shocking, and it shouldn't have been, but it was. But I didn't absorb it for me. I was absorbing it from a point of like, but this is about my mom. And I just felt like that was what hurt me. And I was like, this woman is still probably going to have a cookout this summer because that's how she is. I'm out here on the ledge, fighting the air, the internet air in her honor, and she'll probably still have some sort of a cookout, and these people might still come through. But I'm out. All these years I've been out. Family, the legal form of mafia, exactly. I'm out. I am officially out. Like everybody knows. Everybody knows now. But seriously, if you're going through anything similar to this, or there's a threat that you might go through something similar to this, like Sunflower and Thistle said, like there would be a consequence. There definitely is. I'm probably, like I said, as a result of this, I don't expect to hear from a good, like, really anybody. I haven't heard from anybody after this. No one's bothered to see if I was okay, or if my mom is okay. And um, that's why I think it's good to have family that you make. I have a coven. I love y'all. Y'all are my family. It's not just, people throw that around loosely. They're my family. We have a connection. Um, I love them. They're my family. They're my sisters. Uh, the family that I created from my body, they're my family. My sister is my family. My mama, she's my family. My best friend, since I've known since I was 14 years old, we are family. Her babies, they my family. Um, Friends that I've made and cherished these friendships over the years. We may not talk every day, but they're my family. Internet folk, people I've met through platforms, people that I've met here who support me. I see you, Empress Goth. Empress Goth, thank you. Insky, Dylan. um, who else is on here a lot? I'm trying to see. Buku, I can't say this name. Buku Wakuma 90. I see you. You be coming through. I appreciate you. And anybody else, and of course, obviously, Sunflower and Thistle. I appreciate you all, and the pop culture princess. Um, but seriously, though, like you can build community, and over at a safe place for which is the Discord that I have. Definitely, that's my intention, to build a community. Um, Community, family, basically community typically is people you begin to start to trust. You start to feel comfortable sharing more with. Hey, look what I made. Look what oh, guys, it's a new moon, and I'm setting out this intention right now. Y'all, if y'all want to send some positive energy my way, that type energy. Thank you. But don't, people tell you, oh, that's not real. Whoa, the alternative is that doesn't feel very real to me. That feels dysfunctional and horrible. So yeah, I'm gonna take this. If you don't think it's real, that's cool. I do. Thank you. Well, as in 2025, I plan on starting. Listen, I constantly try over there. I feel if you build it, they will come and participate. I'm still of that mind. I'm never giving up over there. It's slow. It is slow, but I'm not giving up because I feel like it's important. I remember starting off very much in the broom closet, very secretive about witchcraft and being Wiccan. very wicked in the beginning because that's what I knew. That's what I was learning. That's what I understood at that point. And I would have loved to have a place where I could talk and ask questions, but not like constantly just, but also contribute. Like, hey, so what's the, I remember I used to be obsessed with what's the difference between a spell and a ritual all those years ago. I wanted to know, how do you do a ritual by yourself? Like, I could read the words, but I couldn't actually see what that looked like. Like, how does that look? Do you just like dress up and be in your house by yourself? Like, these were the things that plagued me as a beginner witch. And then after practicing for a while and being solitary, um, craving community. I think that's why I started YouTube. I do. I think that's why I started. I used to write a blog and then I came over to YouTube. I felt like it was the right path to go in. And it was like, it'd be nice to have, build something and share. Because I want to talk to somebody who gets me with this subject. And, but now that that difficult conversation part is over, because I wanted you guys to fully comprehend when I say I'm out, like I just got outed. Like everybody from the distant cousins to the this person, they all know. The elders, the young ones, everybody. And nobody's standing with me except for my sister and my daughter. And it's a lot of folk. So I get it. If you are going through this, like I said, I totally get it. So, couple things about handling situations. Stay calm. Mostly I was calm. Once it was all said and done, the Wicked Witch was out. I did have to consult with my ancestors to keep from like being very irresponsible with some cursing and some hexes because I was pit like true Aries, the warrior. Like I was ready to go. Not in a way where people think you're really angry. Like it, I was feeding from it. Like it was very like I came alive in that moment. Um, try to stay calm. I was calm, but we're which is having a human experience. It's okay that we experience anger. I think I was right to feel angry. What I would have done about it would have been the problems. But because I am a witch who is about her witchcraft, I consulted my ancestors because this is a very family thing. I had to go talk to my ancestors. Also, and to, ward off, the rebuking and the binding spells this heifer was throwing at me. My Aries ass loses her cool. Exactly. Because whether she realized it or not, she was speaking in curses. She was cursing me. She really was cursing me. Um, so, I had to counteract that. Educate when possible and where possible. Sometimes, these are my notes, sometimes people's reaction come from ignorance, not malice. Now, in my wild situation, it was malice. So but I want to make a point about this. That was not a space for me to educate. They were never going to hear me. I got called weird and I got rebuked by at least 3 people. Right off the cuff. Um, Aries in the chat, yeah. Let's try and take a nap to try and clear your head before making a decision. Thank you. Anybody else, if you want to like throw in some insights about this type of experience, do, because trust me, if you're doing this, even if it's not as crazy as my situation, it could just be that one coworker who saw something that you had on you and you didn't, that they caught you on a day you didn't feel like covering it up. You didn't feel like, or just blatantly lying. And you try to minimize and say something like, yeah, I'm into the new agey stuff. And they kind of come for you. Set boundaries, which is my next tip. It's okay to tell somebody that their behavior or their comments aren't okay. So like in a situation like that, like in person, somebody seems like, you know what, I really don't want to talk about this. I don't talk about religion, spiritual, like I just don't feel comfortable. And that's, that should, well, we're adults. Hopefully that's enough. Anything else, now you're just dealing with an adult being stupid and you got to handle that how you want. They're going to miss out on getting to know themselves and being free. Exactly. Oh my gosh. That's all I kept thinking. Like, you guys are enslaved. This mentality, like, it was bothering me so much. But that was really getting to me too. And then the other thing, which is what I've been talking about, is finding support. Lean on those who do support you. Again, like my daughter, my sister, I have for me, I have my coven, I've got my good girlfriend, I've got another group of good girlfriends, I've got another network of other friends outside of that. I got the people on the internet as well. Like I feel like I have support. I don't feel alone. Um, I don't. And then of course I have the spirit realm on top of that, but I really don't feel alone. And I'm so happy because imagine if you did. Imagine if that, like, I think about that. If I had felt so alone, like, let's say my sister wasn't riding for me, and let's say my daughter was like, I mean, mom, that's the stuff you do, but she was non-committal about it, you know, um, and I didn't start the coven. Yeah, that might be, it might be getting to me a little bit more. That might be tough. It might be tough. Um, I'm grateful I have a network. I have community. Build community. Find your people. Um, and when you come into it, come from the point of view of let's all work together and share together. Don't come in from I want to learn from them. You just where you are, you have something to share too. Don't come in trying to take. Come in with the attitude of what, this reciprocal thing. Um is less pressure if you're coming in with that way, and that's the energy you're bringing. People peep, that's the energy you're coming in with, and then they start to respond the same way. Don't come in with your hand out for information and free knowledge, because that's not fair. That's my only caveat with community. uh let's see here. They know I read cards. Yeah, some people comfortable with just a little bit of stuff, but you can't. You put the witch's hat on and say, "No, I'm an actual witch." It's like, oh, whoa, fire and brimstone. Like my ring, my pentacle, always in conversation. They don't ask questions they don't want answers to. I like that. Good, you have built a community. Yeah, I encourage you. Need listen. The longer you're practicing, and I'm not saying join a coven. I'm saying community. Community is, even if it's just a friend, even if it's just a friend online. Because some of us, it might not happen. They could be on the other side of the world, but you guys share things in this subject matter. If you don't have anybody else to talk about this, or talk about this wild dream that you had that means something, or just that sort of stuff, or your day-to-day experiences, like you're going through these big things, and yeah, you could probably talk. I mean, you could talk to a therapist, you could talk to a lot of people, but you don't feel like you could talk to them about the fact that your new moon intention was to help heal yourself. You don't feel comfortable talking about that aspect. It'd be nice to have somebody to talk about that part too. Yes, even if you're new, you have a fresh perspective. Yeah. What's the main spirit's name that you command? Dudes, Jules, the main spirit that I command. First of all, I don't like the concept of commanding spirits. Remember, community, reciprocal. I don't petition. uh, my ancestors, mostly, sorry, it's a loud car out there if you heard that. My ancestors are my primary place I go to for protection and support, especially in matters like what I'm talking about now. Hecate is who I consult. I consider her my goddess. I'm working with some other, and it's revolving. Yamaya for some things, Oshun for others. I work with my house spirits, the Fae. So it depends. It's situational, if that makes any sense. I remember when you started the Discord. Oh, I love your journey. Been since before you locked your hair, right? I like your mindset. I'm sticking around. I need community too. Yes, please stick around. I remember you, Coco Lux. You should stick around. um, yeah, you should. It's good. It's healthy. I'm sorry it came out wrong. Like I kind of guess I was like, I ain't commanding no spirits. Like I'm not. I don't have those kind of control issues, but I think I understand what you. But I did want to clarify that I feel what you was trying to say, dudes, Jules. But petition. But yeah, my ancestors mostly. And that's who I go to. Um, like for this situation, obviously, I feel like I kind of need to work with them the most right now. It's a no brainer because it's like, get your people. I'm like, this is how I'm talking. Like, you need to get your people. Because if I'm going to do it, it's going to be crazy. Get your people. Do something with them. Um, let's talk about managing expectations. As we, from my story, again, this is a very fresh experience I'm sharing with y'all, but not everyone's gonna understand or accept your path, obviously, and that's gonna be okay. It's okay with me. I think it's more important to be at peace with yourself. For me, that next day, because this happened like in the evening, it happened over a period of time. Like there's the first influx, and then it just got really ugly that one evening for me. The next day, I got up. I mean, I worked with my ancestors that night because I really was about to do something. Um, and I'm gonna let them handle it. I'm gonna let them until they tell me different. Um, the next day I came up and I just felt like I felt the most witchiest I think I felt in a very long time that next morning of um kind of like I I know. And he was like, know what? I don't know. I know. I have knowledge. I know. And I don't want to say it like they don't and I'm better than them and they're ignorant. It wasn't, maybe a little bit. The pettiness was there. I ain't gonna lie, a little bit of that. But the other part of it was like grateful that I know. And for the sake of my ancestors, they have somebody to commune with who is openly receiving what they have to say, venerating them openly. And I just felt like, what the Christians say, highly favored. Yeah. I felt a little bit of that the next morning, and I felt really positive about it, though. I guess I'm built different. I don't want friends that aren't practicing witches. I don't want friendships that I can't be myself in. Here, I completely understand, and I realize I'm at the point now, you better be at least witch curious. You better be woo woo. You better be open. You at least, like, you got to be on a level where you're at least on law of attraction. You have to believe a little something. um I cannot be your friend otherwise. Not because I think there's something wrong with you. You're gonna think something's wrong with me. I'm doing it as a protective measure to protect myself. Look what happens. I'm protecting myself. um, these people get in their head, and listen, you could be in danger. You could be in serious danger dealing with some of these people in these religions because my own family member threatened my life, because that's how I took that, as a threat to my life. To not spare a witch, that's a threat to me. And that's how I received it. I'd be miserable without Princess. Oh, pop culture princess, yes. And without your community, yeah, same. Yes, I need my community. And I hope to be, a safe haven, a knowledgeable source, a friend, a witch to my community as well. I'm like, do y'all know how good it is to have a witch, to have a relative that do something, that do a little something? You should want that. You should want that in your life. You should listen. You don't have to mess with her like that, but it's like, look, I like having that in my arsenal. I need one of that. You need a witch on your team. But not everybody sees it that way. Managing expectations. The positives. Let's talk some more positives. So I don't want to linger too much on the negative. There is a lot of good, like having a witch on your team. Authenticity. Being public allows me to live authentically, unapologetically. That makes me feel good as an actual human, like as a person, by the way. It's freeing to not hide a part of myself. And it's a big part of who I am. It's freeing. I feel so free. Connection. Again, I talked about it. YouTube, the Leap Taken Discord community, and the other communities, that I built. Like I mentioned, my covenant, things like that. Again, like-minded individuals to remind me I'm not alone. I'm inspired constantly, and I know I'm not alone. Opportunities. So being out has opened doors for collaborations. Me being mentorships, me being a mentor, and again, creating my own community, uh, empowerment. There's power in showing others it's okay to be yourself. I've personally received messages over these years that I've been on YouTube, people telling me that I've inspired them. I've received those. I take that to heart. Um, I really want you to feel like you can live a magical lifestyle, and you can live it and live in the real world. You can live a magical lifestyle in the real world. People are going to intentionally misunderstand us no matter what. I think people intentionally want to misunderstand you. You're never going to be able to explain yourself enough or what you're doing. It doesn't matter. Live your life, live magically. This channel has been a blessing to me in a lot of different ways because it's been a space again where I have been able to share knowledge, and that was something I realized I truly craved also. I spent a lot of years wanting to gain knowledge and be in spaces, and I was when I'm so I was hungry for it. I would meet I would, I see something online, I'll meet you in person. These different I've had over the years different groups in different states that I met up with people, been in people's houses, participated in in-person rituals. So I've done that. I've kind of when I started going, like I met this one group. They were like I don't forget what did they call it? So something Nordic was in the title. You would say, does it matter if I? Well, they accepted me. They let me come and participate in a ritual. I had mead. I drank out of that oh, what do you call that thing? I can't think of it. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. It's like you drinking out like the horn or something. The it's like a I'm losing it. I'm sorry. Hopefully, you know what I'm talking about through my ramblings. That was an experience. uh, I had to get over the ick that I was drinking after people because they were passing it around. All I kept thinking is, goddess protect me, because I wasn't really sure I was able to work with a god or goddess, but I was just saying goddess. I didn't work with anything specific. I was like, goddess, please protect me against these germs. I'm pretty chill if friend family member doesn't believe. My aunt found out from my dad. She got me Christian themed things for my birthday and Christmas, but 2 to 3 years later she's mostly okay with it. Yeah, they tend to have like a reaction. Oh, let me get you a Bible because you don't know. I do. That's why I'm in this other direction. um, but anyway, yeah, I've had these great experiences over the years of gaining knowledge and contributing where possible. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Enski? Like the tradition. I'm trying to think. Was it Ragnarok? I was watching. It's a series on Netflix, and it's happening somewhere. Is it in Sweden? I don't know. And it's based on like Thor. Am I the only person that saw this on Netflix? This is different seasons. I didn't watch the last season, and there's like an environmental protection thing going on. I just, I should be doing stuff. Yep, she got me a Bible. I can't wait to make some mead for spring. I do kind of want to make some mead, by the way, after saying all this. I want to make my own wine for sure. I want to definitely want to get into wine making. That's one of the herbal things I was thinking about doing this year. Um, I hear it can be messy though. I forgot what the horn cup is called too. Y'all know what I'm talking about anyway. But yeah, I actually participated. We were outside in like somebody's backyard. It was at night. We're on the ground, no blanket. Like I'm on the earth. Real witchy stuff. I did the spiral walk with a group of people. Like I was really out there trying to learn with all different types of folk. When I say I want to learn, I wanted to learn. And I always felt like I was safe. Well, one, I brought back up. But I was safe. Um, y'all know what I'm talking about though. But yeah, so I'm at the point, I reached a point where it was like, I've read a lot. I've had a lot of downloads. I've had a lot of experiences with all different types of folk. And I thought, it might be good to share some of this. And I felt really called. I felt like that was a purpose driven thing for me to share. Hence this channel. I wanted to share. I'm still learning, by the way. I don't feel like I know everything. But as I go, here, I'll share. Just be safe milking. Making alcohol can be deadly. Exactly. I don't want to hurt myself. I would be by the book. Everything they say. That's why I enjoy baking. Everything's precise. I like measurements. I like knowing, I follow the timeline. I'm very clean, so everything would be clean. And I would follow everything appropriately. Um, Advice for those considering going public with your craft: start small. You don't have to shout it. I've never been a fan of doing that. Hey, by the way, in case you didn't know, I'm a witch now. Like, why are you? I feel like sometimes people are doing, like, don't do that. Like, what are you trying? I feel like when people do that, it's like a shock value thing. You might be really excited about it. I don't think it's necessary to shout it from the rooftops right away, especially in the beginning. Give yourself a minute. Um, just start sharing with trusted people, and like I said, join online communities. Know your way. So understand why you want to be public to begin with. So again, for me, it's about being authentic and having connections. So that's why I like to be out and loud about being a witch. But you want to know your why. Why do you want people to know? Think about this, because a lot of people might be wanting to start a YouTube channel or wherever else. You might want to really take it public. Why do you want to do that? Mine was purpose driven. I felt like I had something to share about witchcraft, and I was okay absorbing whatever comes with that from people I might personally know who may have a problem with me calling myself a witch. Know your why, and then set boundaries. Again, not everybody deserves access to your inner world, you know, who you are as a witch. So decide how much you're willing to share and with who. So back to the coworker example, they see your ring or necklace and it's pinnacle or something like that. They don't you don't owe them a detailed explanation. You don't owe them anything. If you if you know it's there won't be anything good coming from this, you can just say it's just something I like to wear. I wouldn't even go into details about it. We know people like to push because if they're, first of all, you're trusting your intuition, you know they mean you unwell. They're coming to be judgmental toward you. You're gonna have to just end it. That's where we use our grown-up skills. uh, Find your community, again, in person or online. I do like the idea of in-person community. I'm relegated to online, but in person, because you can get a hug. Sometimes you need a hug because it's just so much. It's so much sometimes. Having a support system, again, is crucial. I believe, even if it's just that one person that you talk to on the other side of the world online, they count. And again, Discord, take and safe place for witches. Links in the description. You may find your person there. It's not just about me. It's community. I'm aiming for that to stay a judgment-free zone, and if I see anything to the contrary, I'll end it. And then celebrate your wins. So every small step toward you being authentic, displaying your authenticity, is a win. Celebrate it. For some of us, it might be wearing, you know, the pentacle necklace. For some of it, it's dressing more witchy. It doesn't matter what everybody else says. It's you feeling like your authentic self. Um, this channel, again, and the Discord, which I'm still building, it wouldn't exist without you guys being here and showing up and interacting with me. And I think that's a reflection of me really talking the talk and walking the walk, being a true witch, really authentically practicing witch. I know over the years, before I even started this channel, there were people I followed and I thought they were so knowledgeable. So within, at the time, they were. And I watched as time goes on, uh, how like things changed on their channel. And then, I don't know, they kind of got flaked out. Like even before they stopped posting, they flaked out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You can tell it's like, girl, what are you talking about? Then some people went into Christianity. They're sirens. Some people just went full Christian. Like, I'm sure you guys have experienced that, and you're like, what? Wow, I didn't expect that. Like, you didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know that was the direction these people were going to go in. And I was getting them as a trusted source. So that kind of threw me. Let me read some of these comments here. My mom used to make wine at home. Also, I used to work in a lab, and then it's not that dissimilar from working with algae. You know, my daughter majored in biology, minored in chemistry, and this would she would be my helper. I tell on a need to know basis. Good advice. Yes, Sophia brings like need to know exactly. I was guilty when I was younger about that. Plus, I was a young ex, JW being a B. What? Wait, I'm not understanding that. Physical is definitely better, scientifically speaking. Yeah. Oh, hi. Glad you saw my live too. Hey, Pet Trivia. That's okay. You can catch up. It's good. It was a lot. um, Also, can't say I am a witch to my neighbors because, yeah, because it's different to them. But the few who do know support me. Right. I wouldn't tell my neighbors I'm a witch, but I'm sure they've heard me. I know they might have heard me talking and, doing some stuff over here and making noise in the smoke. Or they think I don't know. If you don't smoke weed, they probably think, oh, they probably think I smoke weed. But I don't know. Here we're a recreational state. By now, if you didn't smoke, you know now because people are smoking. Let me tell you what is like clockwork, always ready to go. The dispensary is always a customers coming there. I have JW family, so Jehovah, gotcha, Jehovah Witness family. So I just avoid talking religion as much as possible with them. Got you. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. The horror stories. Yeah, we had some of the family did go in that direction at some point, and at some point they switched over to being Muslim, and now some of them back in Christianity. Y'all know that's I'm from. First of all, I grew up near excuse me. I grew up near Philadelphia, so there's a huge Black Muslim population. If you didn't know, in Philadelphia, so I grew up right near it. So it was inevitable. Some of my family would, like, just by the numbers, some of them would go in that direction, and some of them I think still are. The two neighbors that I talked to used to talk to know that I'm a witch, and one of them knows that I'm pagan. Yeah, I feel for you too, Empress Golf, because the religious trauma that comes from, I mean, right now the discussion is basically what's it like being out, but you as the witch who has had to endure being a witch, um, a lot comes with that. I've talked about this, and I will be talking about it again coming into 2025 because I think it's necessary, to recap and to keep talking about this. That it's okay to want to. It's interesting, I think, as a black witch specifically, because there's a lot tied to the church, historically speaking, that's positive. However, why do I even know about this? Why am I Christian? Why am I speaking English? Why is this, and then that takes us down another road. And yeah. Okay, so you're in Philadelphia. Got you. Okay. Then you know. um, yeah, that's where it's interesting because I felt like when I was coming up, I had access to different, at the time I thought these I only knew what I knew. So I knew there was Christians, and I knew there were different denominations of that. I knew you could be Muslim, and I knew you could be Jewish, and the occasional Buddhists. But I felt like, oh well, we all, we can exist. And I really didn't realize, because I didn't know there was anything else. um no, I really, and then I remember hearing about, oh, I heard the term Hindu, and I was like, oh, so that's a thing. Um, that's as far as I was for the longest of time, as a young person. I went to college and I took a world religion course, and my mind expanded even further. And now I was able to, I mean, I was still being influenced like by popular media and movies and things like that, so I understood about witchcraft. I'm not saying I was completely innocent. I knew, I felt like I could draw parallels, and from some of the experiences I was seeing, a little bit more mundane, not like in the movies, but I felt like I was drawn to that. But like religions, I didn't think witchcraft could be a religion. But then I would learn about Wicca, Harrisburg. Oh, you were on that part. Okay. I'm familiar. Yeah, I used to live in Philadelphia, but in the city, North Philadelphia at the time. Um I used to hang out in West Philadelphia because I had some family out there. So I would, coming up, that's where I would be. And then later, like in my late teen years, um, I had a boyfriend in Southwest. It was horrible at the time. I don't know what it's like now. It was horrific at the time. It was scary, but I loved this boy so much. I would go to this crazy neighborhood where he lived, his area. It was bad, but I would go out there and kick it with this young man. Yeah, y'all, we all we got. We gotta cling to each other. I didn't believe either. I wanted to though. Yeah, we gotta stay together. I started from Wicca first myself. A lot of us, who, right? Well, not everybody. I know not everybody started from Wicca. I know, but a good amount of us did. Or even if we didn't call ourselves Wiccan, we learned, a lot of us, I think, from Wiccan ideology. Uh, that was the bridge for me. And I don't want to minimize Wicca, by the way, because there are people who they stayed Wicca. They learned it and they stayed that way. So I don't want to minimize it, and make it seem like it's only good for getting started. That just happens to be my journey. And I know for a fact that was a lot of other people's journey. But it helped introduce the concept of a feminine deity, because I just told y'all what I had been exposed to. And I had heard the word Hindu. I didn't know anything about the religion. I just heard the word Hinduism. I didn't know details. And I didn't, this is pre-internet. I didn't know where to look for this kind of information. The library, I didn't even know how to comprehend going, like, and I also didn't really want to know. I felt like just knowing it existed was like, okay, so is this, you could be this, or that, or nothing, and an atheist. Um, I'm so happy I evolved. But even then, and I was amongst my family in person, this is how my mind is. I'm still willing to expand beyond just Christianity. Yeah. Somebody I follow, Deborah Blake, she's an author. Y'all probably know Deborah Blake. She is very much still Wiccan. She's been Wiccan for years, and I respect that. And she comes up with fresh material, books, from a Wiccan perspective, and I appreciate that. And I buy her material, I buy her books. uh, and she's Wiccan, and I find that she has something relevant to add to my practice, because I still dip into my Wiccan bag. I mean, the wheel of the year, all these concepts and things like that. I mean, I could take this, how I celebrate, and I could definitely find parallels to my ancestors and see how they also just lived by the climate, the seasons, and they wouldn't have approached it as the wheel of the year, but they were doing the same thing. We just know the term wheel of the year, so I use that. Is it a Wiccan thing? Yes, but I still hold some of that. I still understand the reverence of my people that came before me, that they also, or people in general, followed, the seasons, because their survival depended on it. But spirituality, a lot of that was all tied in to that as well. You said you were searching it for Goth. Yep, me too. Like, even though I don't celebrate the full wheel of the year, the equinoxes and solstices are important to me. Exactly. Sometimes people are a little too quick about Wicca, and I'm like, hey, calm down now. I consider myself a green witch with a slice of hedge. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're in the realm. Me as the cottage witch. I didn't know where to look book wise. Yeah, I remember when I first started, I was looking for crystal magic books in the science geology section. First of all, I have done something similar. I didn't know Barnes and Noble had a witch section. I had been okay, so I listen in the years where I was homeschooling my kids, so we were in the library all the time. I was looking for books for me too. So like there we would leave with stacks of books. My daughter leading the charge with the most books. I'm right behind her, my son with the least. I don't know what it is with you boys, just fighting you to read books. He read them, but he would never read. He would never commit to the amount of books that we did. Is legit not just a stepping stone. No, it's not. I wonder myself sometimes. I was like, will I ever like? Will there be like will I find that bridge again to Wicca instead in an opposite direction? I mean, I'm not planning on it. I'm pretty secure with how I'm practicing, but there is something about the ceremonial pieces and things like that. I do like that, and that's something I'm being intentional about adding to my practice. One of my resolutions for 2025. So I'll probably be more in my Wiccan bag, low key, and all the things that I learned. Um, Probably emulating a lot of that, but I don't know if I don't know at this stage. It's not something I'm aiming toward or going toward, but I have respect and reverence for it. There's some other things that are not for me, but with this, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. All right. I'll just say that. Oh gosh, but this has been fun. I have missed being on YouTube. I had my hiatus and that was nice. I needed the break. And it's good to be back. And I'm glad that y'all are all engaging in this. But I figure this is something that we all can share. Even if you haven't told a soul, there's a reason you haven't told anybody you're a practicing witch. And you understand. You understand. I love the wheel of the year. I have no illusions about it being an ancient practice exactly. I understand ceremonial magic, but I'm too inconsistent. Right. Wicca is a religion. Like, there's some things that come with that. You're right. And I think it's okay to say, thank you, the pop culture princess, to realize, I can't get with the whole religion aspect of it. Um, I know I'm not a fit for that, so I don't want to do that. But I do love that they do the Wheel of the Year, or I do love the concepts of the rituals and how they ceremonial and all that sort of stuff. I enjoy that, so you can use that. I think that's perfectly fine. My first magic book was found in a free box. Huh? In front of the thrift store, Water Magic. I still have it. Oh, that's okay. Everybody, what's your first book? Your first magic book? Mine was Cunningham, Solitary Witch. That book was my Bible. When I started, that was my first real wit like that I owned witchy book. I'm glad you like these chats. You're in North Philly. Okay. I lived there. That's where, when I had my baby, my daughter, all those years ago, that's where the home that we took her to, back to our place in North Philly. We lived in a duplex. I would say a section of Wiccans are like Christians. Of the witch world. Them being dogmatic and saying, "What about the threefold law?" Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I know what you're saying about that part. I was being nice. We ain't gonna go. I don't want to tear it apart, but that's some of the stuff I can't get with. I can't get with that either, and I know that that doesn't work for me. That's exactly the path I ended up going down. Religion is in general, is not for me, but there are components that resonate deeply. Right. The Book of the Dead. Ooh, you got the Book of the Dead. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we talked about that as a homeschooling exercise. But yeah, yeah. And not from a witchy, like I wasn't doing like the Christian equivalent, but with witchcraft. We were using it for a different thing. We were studying ancient Egypt and stuff like that. So it was just another addition. Um, Let me tell you, homeschooling my kids, and I didn't homeschool them using I did for a brief moment. I realized how horrible it was, and I stopped. So it was like a handful of months. I used the like the K-12, the online program. No shade to people who, if you you learn from that or if you're using it. I found it severely lacking, confusing, and not really something that fostered wanting to learn. It was more like get these assignments done type energy. And I wanted my babies to learn. I wanted them to want to know things. So I created a curriculum every school year for both of my kids. They were separate. You might be studying, like, we might be talking about ancient, like, we might be covering historically from a different time period, but I made it appropriate for my daughter and made it appropriate for my son, who was 3.5 years younger than her. Sometimes we would come together, but it was hard because her, come on, she's gonna take over the conversation. um, but yeah, she could also help him with some things. But it was me doing that. My daughter, I knew she told me she wanted to be a doctor. I gave her. I went. MIT was doing. I don't know if they still do this. They were doing free online courses with all the material, and they'll tell you the books and all that. And some, like, it was all there for you. So advanced biology, college level, like introductory college level biology, and chemistry. She was taking those with me because we were already done with the high school stuff. Um, she started college. With most people were becoming seniors in high school, she went to college. I was serious. We was gonna do this. Let's see what else we got here. Solitary Witch by Silver Ravenwolf was my first book. Yeah, Silver. Okay, you know the controversy about this woman, but you know what? She was hitting back in the day. My daughter, I think her first one was the Teen Witch one. I think because she told me that she read that book. I don't think I got her. It was at the library. The Spiral Dance, Insky. Okay, you only got through half of it. You know, a fun thing would be trying to go back and read these books. See if it connects. Like, you don't have to read it from beginning to end. Like, just do a flip through, especially sections that you used to read. Like, look at it now and be like, damn, that really got me. Like, I didn't know it, or maybe it still does. Consorting with spirits. Ah, pet trivia. Okay, I know that one. Spells for the Solitary Witch is the name. Okay. Silver Ravenwolf makes sense. Cunningham from the library. Moon Magic was your first book. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. It's, you know, now that I said this, I think I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna just go. It's been a very long time that I've looked at that book, but I might do a look. I know I still have it. I'm pretty sure I still have it. And I wrote in there and everything. I lent the book out, and the person took a long time, but they did return it. And I was like, you should read this. This is like gives you all the information. Matt Autumn. Okay, okay. I would never recommend that book to anybody today. I've talked about books. I've never recommended that book. That's the crazy. Have I? I don't think I have. No, right? Have I ever recommended that man's book? I don't think I have. You should do a live about your thoughts on rereading it. That was something I said I was going to do last year, and I realized I didn't get back to it. But that would be fun. Um, that would be fun to see, like, how does it hold? So all these years later, how does it hold up? Now, there are books I've tried to reread because I thought, well, maybe I wasn't in the right headspace to receive the information, and I still don't like it. I have Solitary Witch by Silver Ravenwolf. Okay, let me tell you, Silver Ravenwolf was the author, like the person to get the books from at the time. Um, she was, y'all, back in the day, like, she really. And then I have one of her other books. I can't remember what it's called. Was it I think it was about hedge witchery. It's relatively recent. I mean, it's not that recent, it's old, but it was more so than like the other books. But I and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try to read that book again, and I'm gonna find that Cunningham book. I'm gonna go through them, and I am gonna see if I'm gonna talk about it. So I'll be live on Friday with a witchy review. talking about new books, but I am going to bring those to the conversation because I want to pick this back up because there's something there to think about. Um, Ride a Silver Broomstick. Yeah. When I started my path, I was in Scotland, so the books were different. Ooh, that sounds exciting. I wonder how. Like, what's the difference? I think it does matter where you are in the world, and what you have access to. I will say this based on YouTube with a lot of witches living in the UK, I find the books. There's somebody I was looking at. She was like going through all these books that she was wanting to read, or yeah, that were coming out, and there were books that were coming out there, but not here in the states. And I was like, well, I would have been interested in hearing more about that book. For Christmas, my son gave me Irish Witchcraft by Laura O'Brien. I one of my Okay, there you go. I'm one of those people, and I talked about one of my New Year's intentions. I don't want to just keep saying resolution. Intentions is I intend to go further into sort of like folk magic, which means reading about other cultures and things like that. Not to appropriate, but I just like to learn. If it sticks, something sticks, great. But I just want to know, right? I just want to know. I just want to learn things. My best friend, gifted me to Ride a Silver Broomstick about 5 years ago, and I flipped through it from time to time. Okay. My witchy to be read pile is a mix of new books and some books I definitely started and paused for some reason, but I'm trying to annotate to the rereads will be interesting, so that the rereads will be interesting. I got you. And fantasy book, Accidental Magic. We're talking about books. The movies alone. What movies? Come on, I know somebody in here about The Craft. The Craft had to get you. The books that came out there and here were different. Okay, got you. Um, Books, movies, like what? What you was like? Dang it, I'm a witch. I know I'm a witch. Definitely The Craft, Practical Magic. Um, I'm gonna take y'all back. Sandra Bullock, Hope Floats. That movie is witchy. It's a little witchy. It's got some stuff to it, but there's a witchy component to Hope Floats. Um, it was something else. They used to be really good back in the day with this. What is her name? Demi Moore. I think she was like a baker or cook or something like that. She was in one that was really witchy. Watching The Craft changed my life. I know, I know. Harry Potter Marathon 2012. My parents, that'll do it. That'll do it. Harry Potter will do it. There's a lot of people who's like, no, that really set it all for me. I get it. I get it. It normalized in a way that people warned in witchcraft. Hope Floats, right? I love that movie. The Good Witch is another one. The Good Witch really got me in a way. Now I was already practicing, but it got me in a way on this subject about being out as a witch. If you really think about it, like she was very out, and it was inspiring to watch that. We're watching that on a Hallmark network, by the way. Um, in the beginning. See, the series was one thing. Those Good Witch movies, Cassie Nightingale was that witch. She was really that girl. She came out there real spooky, serving true witch, what you thought a witch would be. And I love those movies. I love those movies. And it did something for me to see that and be able to watch so many of the movies. Yeah, there were other themes, but I was there for Cassie and her just being a witch. Rochelle was the first African American witch I had ever seen in the movies. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Okay, we got to talk about that. First of all, yes. The hair, everything. Oh my God. Yes, I was like, I think that's my love affair started with the actress herself because of that, by the way. And yeah, Agatha all along on Disney. I had mixed reactions when I first started watching, but I did finish it, and I like it. I'll just say that I like it. It's a good series. The Good Witch, the series is also good too. You think it would have been Harry Potter because I was a kid when it first came out and I was a huge fan, but no, I wasn't witchy until college, and it was Coraline that did it. I think that's my daughter's thing. Coraline, she was obsessed with that movie. Oh my goodness, yes. She said she was so good. I remember when the Good Witch series ended. Oh, they took a turn in the end. They start bringing in gay stuff, and well, that's why Candace Bure, what's her name? The girl from Full House, DJ from Full House. She left the Hallmark network because they were too woke. Something felt a little off. I can't put my finger on it. People did deep dives. I watched at least one all the way through and like pieces of another one. There's a reason that we feel that way, but I overall enjoyed it. I'm almost 35 and still obsessed. Half of my Christmas presents were Coraline things. I could take her back immediately. First of all, I realize, I mean, I have the same thing for me. There are certain things that I hold dear to forever from childhood, and I realize my daughter is pretty much the same way. That'll get her. She Nightmare Before Christmas, the movie. We're not going to talk about the creator and his racist ways, but we're that was her jam. She's always like that sort of stuff. The Good, which is good too. Yeah, it was sad that she's like that. Yeah, yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. I will be back. I am gonna actually go back and look at those. I gotta find a book, but I know I got that Hedge Witch book by Silver Ravenwolf. I'm very curious to look at it now. I ended up calling myself a cottage witch. I was not do when I read that. That's not where my head was. Um, I am very curious now that we're talking about this. I'm gonna go do a look through that book, and I have another Silver Ravenwolf book. I think that's a bigger book. I'll flip through, but I am very curious to where I'm at now. What and I'm not looking to pull it apart and like make myself feel bad of what I fell for initially, but I just want to do a contrast and comparison. No judgment on myself, but I am curious to see. And then we'll talk about some new stuff too on Friday. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go. It's been fun. It's been witchy. I'm glad everybody was on the same vibe here. This is what I'm talking about. Like minded people. It's refreshing after being in their Christian hell over there on Facebook. This was nice. Thank y'all for talking to me and participating. And y'all made me feel good, so thank you. I mean, I didn't feel bad, but you just boosted me even more. So I really do appreciate y'all. You too, Coco Lux. All right, bye. Oh, like, subscribe.